My guest today is Kelicia Lyons, investigator with the State Attorney General's Office, active community volunteer, and up until recently, candidate for Precinct 6 Justice of the Peace. So Kelicia, why are you unable to run for JP?
The current JP, which is Jason Charbonnet, he decided that he did not want an opponent from the Democratic Party. So he took it upon himself to get a couple of his friends and pressure Judge Whitley to redistrict Precinct 6 and some of the other areas. So within 24 hours, they came up with a map taking me out of the precinct, not only just me, but 60,000 other voters out of the precinct. And the majority of those voters are Democratic voters. So they decided if they take those Democratic the opponent and the voters out of the precinct, that they would have a better chance of not coming up with an opponent to run in this election.
Okay. So that was a November 9th Commissioners Court meeting. And when we say Judge Glenn Whitley, we mean the head of the county.
That's correct.
So what was that meeting like? You were there. You heard people speak for and against this new map. What was your experience like?
It was unbelievable with all the information that the Commissioners Court had about how this came about, that they continued with the process and didn't care who heard the information. A lot of information came out that it was backdoor dealing. They presented it within 24 hours and with no public input, and presented the map and tried to, well, they did. They succeeded in getting Judge Whitley and the other commissioners, Republican commissioners, to approve the map. And so that day was unbelievable. It was just unbelievable, the things that still go on in this community, and regardless of being publicized, that they didn't care who heard about it. It hasn't got very much publicity on it, and I think they wanted it that way.
They're counting on
it. They're counting on it that way. And I just couldn't believe it. I just couldn't believe it. It's still back in the good old boys days. You know, it's tit for tat, or you do a favor for me, I'll do a favor for you, pretty much.
Okay. Well, some folks are taking actions. You're a plaintiff in a civil lawsuit, Steve Maxwell, that's ongoing. He's told us that he's going to be filing a federal lawsuit maybe in January that's going to try to reverse this through the Voting Rights Act. And then there's, of course, a national lawsuit that kind of ties into this. The Justice Department filed a suit. And then Steve Maxwell said that he has reached out to the Justice Department to ask that the federal government look at this. So with all of that happening, are you hopeful that this will change at all? I
am hopeful that it will change because, you know, it's important because we all are registered voters, and we should not allow our elected officials to pick their voters. That's why we have a voting system, is so that the voters can pick who they want to represent them. And the way that they did this dealing, backdoor dealing, I feel that if they get away with it this time, they'll continue to do it that way. And that's not how the system is set up. The system is set up so that people, when they go out to vote, they get to select who they want to represent them. And it's so unfair that they did it this way.
Well, let's expand on that. Remind folks, when we talk about gerrymandering, they may or may not understand what it means, but why does a lot of this comes down to minority representation.
Correct.
Why does it matter to minority communities that they are able to elect someone who looks and maybe thinks like them and has their values?
When you elect someone because actually, we can relate. We can relate to what's going on in our community because we're there. Our community has grown so much that there are more African Americans and people of color in this community, and they need someone to look like them. They need someone to know that the struggles that they go through, that someone can relate to that. And so that's why it's so important to, when you come into a courtroom and you see someone of a person of color, they can probably relate to your circumstances. They can relate to the situations that you're in right now. They can relate to your environment. A lot of times that doesn't happen, especially here in Tarrant County. It's not happening. It's not happening. So that's why it's so important for people of color to select people that they feel will be fair, they will be honest, and they will represent the community.
Well, for your supporters who are going to continue to follow you, what can they expect from you in the next couple of years? What are you going to be up to?
I'm going to still fight.
Okay.
You know, I'm not from around here, but I see that we need people that are going to be honest. We need people that are going to be fair. regardless of your race, regardless of your background, we need people that's going to see people's issues and address those issues and not just the color of their skin. So I'm going to continue to fight. I'm going to continue to get out there and run for offices that I feel that I'm qualified for. So yes, they'll continue to see me.
Okay. Well, thanks for talking to us, and it's an important topic. We hope folks will follow this story. It's been underreported, unfortunately. We're doing what we can to keep it out there. But again, thanks for talking to us in the public and for speaking with the Weekly.
You're welcome.
And best of luck with everything.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.